Guys, it's Jay from Emerald Dust, and today I'm showing you my new Aqua deck, which won the last local tournament at my place, and it focuses heavily on Numbers and Maelstrom. So let's start. For my Forerunner I am playing Marius, the Maelstrom starter. His effect is if you boost the Vanguard and the Vanguard hits the Vanguard on the third battle or more, you can check your top 5 cards and look out for Maelstrom and put it into your hand. So he is practically a free grade 3 searcher who doesn't soul charge himself, and it's practically a +1 every time you get the Maelstrom in the top 5 cards for free. So that's great. It adds a lot of pressure for your opponent if you are always attacking with your Vanguard third, and there's a possibility you're getting a +1 for, so you can throw it away for stride or perfect cards. So that's cool. Next up are my triggers. I'm playing 4 heals, nothing much to say about that. Then 4 draws of the Magal clone, so Soul Charge 1 gets +3, that's cool with Tidal Assault together, or yeah, practically much Tidal Assault. And the draws are really cool in Aqua Force because you need the head. Next up are 4 crits of the Maelstrom. For Maelstrom she says 4 attack or more. If she boosts the Vanguard, put her into the deck, shuffle your deck, and your Maelstrom gets a Tom effect, so your opponent can guard with grade 0s. Together with Growl Maelstrom, it's an effect which doesn't let the enemy guard at all, except interceptors. And then 4 crits which can unflip. They're just cool because if you are heavily focusing on Maelstrom in the game and don't have much counterblast for your Magnum Assault or anything, you can use him to unflip a counterblast, but he's just there because you can have him and you don't really need 5k crit triggers or anything else. So cool to have. I'm playing 8 crits on no stance at all because I'm focusing on numbers in this build. Maelstrom is just something I can use if I don't have Lumbers or Strides, and I don't really like stands with Lumbers together, so no stats. Next up are my grade 1s. I'm playing 4 perfect guards, the alt ones which let you guard your rare guards because the cross and anything else that wants to kill your 4th attack enabler, so that's cool. And you don't really need the counterblast in an Aqua deck because everything is really cheap. So yeah, the alt PG. Next up is 4 stride helpers. He's searching Savas if you want, while not playing any Savas, so that's useless. And he's a grade 3 if you want to stride. Yeah, pretty basic. Next up are 3 limit break enabler of Aqua Force. So since the stride era, it sucks pretty much to start first, but Aqua Force doesn't care about that because we have the limit break in this deck. And he enables it no matter how much damage you have, and you can wreck your opponent while they're still grade 2 and you are on Maelstrom because you started, and getting a whole bunch of attacks off and even get a +1 because of the draw or retirement something. So that's cool. I'm only playing 3s though because I'm focusing on stride, and it's cool to have them, but if you start, if you don't start, you can instantly grade 3 and then stride, so then he gets useless again, but if you can't do that, you still have him. Next up are 2 Stasia. She's Generation Break 1, grade 1 with 6k, and says if she attacks from the back row, she gets +3k, and I can attack the opponent's front row. That's pretty cool for a 4th attack enabler in the back row, since Narukami is a thing, but they're only retiring in the front row, and when they are retiring in the back row, you can choose it for yourself, so you don't have to choose her. So she's pretty much unkillable except for Kagero, but if she's behind your Vanguard, they can root flare her, and that's pretty cool. Next up are these all my grade 1s? Yes. Next up are my grade 2s. I'm playing, wait a moment, let's clean this mess up. Better. Next up are 4 Magnum Assault. His effect is counter +1, Generation Break 1. If he gets boosted and attacks the Vanguard, he can stand again and gets plus 2k. If you boost him and don't want to pay the cost, you can't pay the cost after Lambros because he already had his chance, and stated here in this little card text. No, come around, focus. Yeah. Here, even if you do not pay the cost, this ability cannot be used for the rest of the turn. But if you are not boosting him, he can use it after he stands, because his boost is the first step of using his effect. But if you're not boosting, he doesn't get effect. It's a vanilla attacker, and that's cool. So I like him as a Generation Break 1. Many people don't play him because they say Maelstrom build is heavily focused on early attacking, which is true, absolutely. But for the later game, I like to attack with 16 and then 11 on my enemy's vanguard again, which is about 15k shield or more, depending on how good they can guard, or if they have to overguard, so that's good. Then for Raging Sweeper, max out because he's the Maelstrom like Basil. He says if you have a Maelstrom vanguard, he gets plus 2k, and if he attacks at the first battle of a turn, he can Blue Storm, and not Blue Storm. He can Storm Ride with the rearguard behind him. So for everyone who doesn't play Aqua Force or is new to Vanguard, it's your attack. He gets plus 2k, so he gets over 11k Vanguards, and he's for free. Then you switch with the unit behind him, and yeah, that unit is in the front row now. But this only happens in the first attack. The cool thing is his 2k and his switch are two different effects. Not like a Couple Dagger, where this is one effect. So he gets his 2k even though you're not attacking at first. So he's still a 21k attacker if you're using Lambros on this turn, and that's really, really cool. Next up are Anti, and plus he doesn't need Generation Break 1, so you can use him before you Stride. Next up are for Tidal Assault, and he also doesn't need Generation Break 1. He came out with the Tetra Drive Arrow of Aqua Force, and I'm using him because you can attack a rearguard with 9k, so you still have your stand after he stands through Lambros. Or he enables your third attack on your grade 2 turn to get his effect off. And because it doesn't need Generation Break, so you can use it all the time. And he stands, gets minus 5k. And a thing I really like to do is, let's imagine you have this as your Vanguard, this obviously behind your Vanguard, then a Maelstrom, and yeah, some kind of boost, let's say Stacia here. And you can say, yeah, you are in grade 2, I'm on grade 2, 9k on your Vanguard, okay, 5k, or I'm not guarding and they don't get a trigger. So stand again, and then 10k or 11k if it's a 7k booster. And they already have to guard again without you playing a second rearguard, so you can plan out things because you don't have to play it out and still have it in your hand. And then 14k on your 9k Vanguard. If they don't get a trigger, they most likely don't guard. If they want to guard, you can hope for a trigger to still get through, and if you get through, you have the chance to get a +1 through the Lens Researcher. So that's the pressure, and yeah, most of the new Generation Break 1 decks don't have that early game, like a Chronicle. They don't have any early game at all, but this deck does. Next up are my grade 3s, which I'm playing 4 of the good all BT08 Maelstrom, because I'm playing also this Maelstroms, the cross rides, yeah, they're all cross rides, and yeah. His effect is Limit Break 4. If it's a 4th attack or turn more, he gets 5k, and if you hit, counters 1, retire a unit of your opponents, and you can draw a card. Well, that's pretty cool, because if you're, as I said, you start arm grade 3, your opponent is grade 2 because you started. You have this behind your Vanguard, and you're getting a 4th attack with one of them. And yeah, if you hit, you retire something, draw a card, maybe even get a Maelstrom from your top 5 cards, so that's a +2. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Next up are 3 Reverse. His effect is Limit Break 4, Counter Rust 1, rest a unit, then lock it. So rest it, lock. And He says then gets critical, and if he doesn't hit, unlike the normal Maelstrom which has to hit, but if he doesn't hit, you retire a card of your opponent and you draw a card. So he's a win-win situation for you. Either they guard and you retire and draw, or they don't guard and get critical in their face. So pretty cool, and with him he's a cross-ride and counters other Aqua Force decks because you're not an 11k, and yeah, that sucks to be Aqua Force player and playing against 13k base like I had to play against Novel, and yeah, they spare many 5k shields because you don't get all your attacks through. The last grade 3 is the next Maelstrom. It's Glowing Maelstrom, and his effect is Limit Break 5, so Ultimate Break, counters 1 if this unit attacks the Vanguard. You can maybe pay the cost, and if you do, he gets plus 5k, and your opponent can guard with grade 1s. So, together with her, your opponent can't guard at all except they're intercepting, but because I'm playing him, he is a 13k base, plus 5k from him are 18k, plus 6 or 7k are 24, 25, so they can't guard that. So that's pretty cool, and without the crossfight he would be 16, 22, yeah, that's 3k guard, but yeah, I really like that. So, that are my grade 3, that's my main deck. As you can see, I'm playing a full Maelstrom grade 8 to get max potential out of him, because I played Savas and Maelstrom Reverse before. Without the normal Maelstrom, sometimes I get Savas in my 5 top cards and I was like, oh man, that could be a Maelstrom, so I changed this to this, and it really works really well. I like it. Yeah, so that's the main deck. And for stride units, I'm playing... Let's start with this. I'm playing Atmos. So he's cool for stride if you don't have any for attack enablers. Counters 1, get plus 10k. Blizzard, pretty much the same effect. For every open, you unflip 1 G-Zone card and he gets plus 5k for every open G-Zone card. So that's a good finisher if you don't have your 4th attack, because the game was pretty exhausting for your resources, and yeah, if your opponent doesn't have a perfect guard and is of 5 damage, he comes around with like 56k, 51k, or 46k if it's also possible. Yeah, that's pretty cool, because it starts with guard. Next up are 2 Tidal Wars, it's the trial deck stride for Aqua Force. He says if he hits on the 3rd attack or more, you can draw a card and you may call a rare card. You don't have to, but you always draw the card. Yeah, you have to draw a card. Yeah, that's pretty cool, because if you have him behind it, he's a Maelstrom, because you have Maelstrom in your heart. And yeah, you get maybe a Maelstrom out of the top 5 cards. So if you first draw, get plus 1, get maybe a Maelstrom, it's plus 2, plus triple check are 5 cards. And you don't know if you get draws out of it. So I had a situation where I got 2 draws and I ended up with 7 cards more in my hand just after this attack. That was just insane. Next up is, and he's a good first strider, sorry. Next up are 4 Lambras, of course, playset. They burned a hole in my wallet, but worth it. His effect is, if he attacks at the 4th battle of the turn or more, unflip him into the G-Zone, and if you then have 2 open cards in your G-Zone, you stand 2 rare cards. You always stand 2 rare cards, you don't have to get the 2 open cards, but if you have the 2 open cards, they also get plus 10k each, so you most likely stride him at the 2nd stride and first him or him or him, because you want the 10k. You can do it without. It happens that you get lucky with your criticals and your opponent's already on 5 damage when you are on your first stride. But yeah, that you don't have a 10k really matters, because if they get a trigger, they are most likely able to guard it. So use them on yours, at least on your 2nd stride. Yeah. And all your strides are able to be toms because of the Despina crit, the Maelstrom crit. Because they're, as I said, copying the name. So that's my Aqua Force deck profile. I hope you liked it. And yeah, I'm out.